I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out.
So can I ask you? So
he has
Scott, just explain what you just read.
That is the message that the shooter, Tyler Robinson, sent to his roommate. That is what he said. He also engraved the word, "Hey, fascist, catch," on the bullet. For 10 years, we have heard nothing from the left but that Donald Trump is a fascist, Republicans are Nazis, authoritarians, destroy the Constitution, bloodbath, dictator for a day. And he wrote it on the bullet.
So can I ask you?
And he's been obviously marinating in some kind of information that radicalized him based on what he heard in the air in this country.
So does the shooter who assassinated Melissa Hortman, who was a stated Trump supporter, whose roommate said
Are you trying to equate these two things?
I'm sorry. Can you let me finish my thought, please?
Please.
We're talking about two people in politics who both...
I'm asking you, does that shooter represent the entirety of the MAGA movement? Of course not. I would never argue that. I don't think you would argue that. So why is it acceptable to use this moment to argue that somebody, a sick individual who committed a horrific crime,
how do you know he's sick?
Is somehow Are you here to argue for his sanity?
I'm here to argue. All I know is what the prosecutor said today. He read very lucid messages from a shooter who was motivated by political hate, who had a plan to get away with it. He did not sound like a deranged person. He sounded like someone who had decided to take it upon himself to rid the world of someone that he hated politically, that he thought that the world would be better off without that. That's different than some deranged lunatic showing up off the street.
His actions were horrific, but to assign the specific, hateful, violent, awful actions of somebody on an individual on the right or an individual on the left,
I don't know that you're right about what happened in Minnesota.
The political conversation is incredibly dangerous and irresponsible in this moment.
Well, I think it's dangerous and irresponsible for nobody to take responsibility for 10 years of the use of the language fascism, Nazi, authoritarian, so on and so forth. It's on the bullet case.
I have seen nothing but Democrats in the wake of this murder saying that it was awful.
You've seen nothing?
I have seen them
literally nothing?
Elected Democrats, I have seen them saying nothing but it was horrific, that they condemn it, that they are sorry for his family, that this is an awful moment in the country. I've seen President Trump do nothing but say it was the Democrats' fault.
Can I just jump in here for a second?
Lulu, yes, go ahead.
I just want to read the words of someone who I think is very wise in the wake of 2019 and the killing in El Paso. He wrote, "We have to stop blaming the politicians we loathe for the vile actions of the deranged, evil people who commit mass shootings." He went on to say, "But here's the thing. We should not, the rush to rage against Trump and the predictive punditry that he will inevitably fail to unite the country seems counterproductive to people who want a meaningful policy outcome. All politicians have a responsibility to ratchet down their own rhetoric and to ask their supporters to stand down as well." And that man was Scott Jennings. And so what I would say about that is those were wise words then, and they should be wise words now.
I don't disagree with any of that. What I am not happy about is that we have the shooter's words. We know what he put on the bullets. It's very, very clear what happened here. And there is a movement by some people to completely say, well, we have no idea.
Scott,
and we do.
Hold on. We have the floor. You can have the floor back. But here's the thing. I had to really struggle to understand all of the details that were on those bullets. They are internet memes from video games that people way younger than us play. Okay, there is something going on online that is merging with the real world in really strange ways. And I'm interested to know if you have grappled with that. I'm not sure it fits quite neatly. We think about the world in a certain way, right? We came up in our politics in a certain way. And now this kid's age are stewing in something different.
And you wrote something back then about a different shooter where they killed a bunch of Latinos. And you very explicitly in that article for CNN said, "I do not believe that we should take the actions of one sick individual who might have acted towards hate and extrapolate that more widely to President Trump." And so I guess my question would be, why should that be different today?
Look, I am only reacting to what I have seen and heard out here for the last 8 years, which is nothing but Democrats and liberal pundits and supposed analysts assigning the word fascist to Republicans from Trump all the way down. I see a shooter who's engraved it on a bullet. I have a shooter who sent a message to his roommate,
Scott,
whatever. I've had enough of his hatred. I'm only simply suggesting that we stop looking the evidence in the face and saying,
I understand
gee whiz, what happened here?
But language has been used on all sides. I mean, the person who have, the people who have called President Trump a Nazi was his present vice president and his present secretary of human
Health and Human Services.
Health and Human Services. So, I mean, language is a problem. There's no question. I think what everyone is reacting to here is the fear that the use of this is going to make it so that you are now targeting people who aren't involved in this at all.
Well, and I also think one other thing people are reacting to is the idea that I think everyone who saw, or most people who saw what happened last week, were horrified by those events, by watching this man get killed in broad daylight. And there was a lot of hope that this would be a moment, an actual turning point moment of this is going to be all of these people calling for cooler temperatures and different rhetoric. And it just wasn't.
No.
And I think that's also what people are reacting to, is that if not this, then is there anything at all that can happen? You watch a 31-year-old father get gunned down in front of his family and nobody changes their rhetoric.
This has been a very strong conversation. And Scott Jennings, I want you to know that we take your point that the way that we talk matters very, very much.
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
And that anything that leads to violence is absolutely unacceptable. And I really appreciate having your perspective. We'll talk.